Bonsoir où que vous soyez dans le monde. On est aux 80 km de l'UTMB à la base de vie de Courmayeur et je suis avec Alberto Motta qui travaille en tant qu'adjoint à la mairie de Courmayeur et qui a 15 ans d'expérience sur l'organisation de cette UTMB. Alberto, bonsoir, merci d'être avec nous.
Bonsoir, bonsoir à tous, à toutes. Oui, c'est vrai. Maintenant, je suis dans la mairie, mais jusqu'à 2020, je suis resté pendant 15 ans dans l'organisation. J'ai débuté en 2006. Ouais. C'était les premières années. Là, c'était l'année où on disait, bon, après, là, c'est le moment où les coureurs, ils passent toute la nuit au dehors. Ils sont exigeants, sûrement. Il faut les bien accueillir. Ouais.
Alors, I'm going to translate for all of you who are not speaking French, wherever you are in the world. We are at the life base of Courmayeur in Italy, where the CCC started this morning, and we are 80 kilometers into the UTMB race. And I'm here with Alberto, who's been in right now, his deputy at the mayor office of Courmayeur. But he's been also for 15 years in the organization of UTMB, and back in 2006 participated in the race, and that was the first time Courmayeur was getting involved. And believe it or not, what you see around here, the life base, was actually happening on the ice ring outside that you can't see. But essentially, they were coming in right in the middle of the night, and he recalls getting there and then finding a banana, and he actually could only eat it a few hours later because it was frozen. It was so cold here. So then the next day after the race was gone, he went to the mayor's office and said, this is a crazy race. We really have to get involved and do better and improve. And so this is how he got involved with the organization, with Michel and Catherine, and together they've all created an association. And then look around now, the aid station is absolutely perfect. You have tables for the crews. You've got the tables with all the foods, the supply, the water, the drinks. Be coming through in the middle of the night where it's cold, and so they will be expecting for sure all sorts of beverages. Bah Alberto, c'est incroyable effectivement, comme tu dis, l'évolution depuis la patinoire jusqu'à ici. Comment tu imagines l'avenir de l'implication de Courmayeur dans cette course?
Bon, dès là, on a commencé à mieux organiser. Après, à fur et à mesure, on a bien compris que l'UTMB, c'est connu dans tout le monde. Je te donne, mais tu me donnes des images pour faire se connaître dans tout le monde.
Yeah. So obviously, seeing the UTMB growing internationally, becoming one of the references in the world and being internationally recognized, like Courmayeur, people here in Courmayeur realized that it was way beyond co-organizing a race, but also getting exposure, getting their name on the map for internationals. And so they've created a tighter relationship between the mayor office and the race, and now they have a really good relationship where they give and take and support each other, so Courmayeur can also benefit from this international visibility of the UTMB events. Eh ben, merci beaucoup.
Merci à toi.
C'était un plaisir de t'avoir rencontré et puis de voir que la passion vit toujours après 15 années après cette participation. So yeah, we are live from the base. Maybe quick words with Fred, and then we'll have the follow-up interview with the mayor of Courmayeur shortly after. So Fred, a little bit of a quick update on the race. Fred, on fait
un petit point de la course
avant le prochain interview.
On est en gros à une petite demi-heure de l'arrivée des premiers ici à Courmayeur. Donc vous avez sans doute suivi. Alors on sait qu'on a quelques problèmes sur le live train, mais vous inquiétez pas, on a les infos, on s'excuse. Il y a aussi des problèmes de réseau. Pour vous donner les dernières infos, alors le fait marquant, c'est l'abandon de Xavier Thévenard qui est confirmé, qui s'est arrêté au Chapieux. On avait vu qu'il avait perdu beaucoup de temps, donc voilà. On a appris aussi que Xavier allait venir ici à Courmayeur maintenant pour suivre son frère Jean-Marie qui est en course.
Yeah, so I'm going to translate what Fred just said about the update on the race. Major fact right now is the fact that Xavier Thévenard has dropped out of the race. We have seen that he had dropped down in the rankings, but he was still racing. Right now, it is official. He dropped out of the race. However, he will come down here to Courmayeur because his brother Jean-Marie is going to be here. He's going to be racing, and so he will be there to support his brother. So you'll expect to see him around. And now we're going to have another update just about the weather. It's 9 degrees Celsius here in Courmayeur, so really not cold.
Alors, il fait pas froid ici, effectivement, mais en altitude, on a des infos aussi que le grand froid, enfin le plan froid qui avait été annoncé n'était pas inutile, évidemment, puisque l'organisation a des très très bonnes infos météo. Au col de la Seine, il faisait très très froid. C'est l'assistance Salomon qui avait quelqu'un là-haut pour renseigner. En l'occurrence Michel Lannes, qui est quand même un spécialiste de la haute montagne et qui a annoncé qu'il y avait du vent. Et là, les infos qu'on a aussi reçues, c'est qu'il y aurait 1 degré au Grand Col Ferret et 35 km/h de vent en nord.
Okay, so about like another update about weather. So it's 9 degrees Celsius here in Courmayeur, but however, higher up we've got the updates, especially from people from the Salomon crew. Michel Lannes, who you might know, who's an expert in his like high alpinism rescue professional, and he said it was, what was the temperature? C'était quoi la température? 1 degree Celsius, but 35 kilometers of wind, which means you will feel colder and below zero, below freezing temperature. So the fact that the organization pulled the trigger on the cold weather kit was absolutely relevant, and it was a good thing that they could actually force the runners to have these extra layers.
Alors voilà, on va en venir à ce que vous attendez tous, hein, la mise à jour du classement et des leaders actuels. Donc,
on va peut-être garder ça pour la fin. On va faire l'interview avec le maire de Courmayeur, Roberto Rota.
On aurait quand même pu dire qu'on avait...
Allez, on a les informations.
On a 2 hommes en tête, François Den et Jim Wemsley.
Ensemble. Yeah, so he just gave out this piece of information. The 2 men leading together, François Den, Jim Wemsley. The rest of the ranking we'll give you just after this interview with Courmayeur's mayor. Roberto, merci beaucoup d'être avec nous à cette heure avancée de la nuit. Bienvenue à cette base de vie. Ça fait combien de temps que toi tu es impliqué dans cette organisation de l'UTMB avec la mairie?
Bonjour, bonne soirée, bonne nuit à tout le monde. Comme maire, c'est la première année parce qu'on a été élu au mois de novembre. Mais avant j'étais le responsable de la structure ici. Alors, avec l'UTMB, c'est une dizaine d'années que je participe comme responsable de la structure. C'est la première année comme maire de Courmayeur.
Donc c'est comme Alberto, finalement, tu as déjà beaucoup d'années d'expérience et avec ici, avant d'avoir l'expérience avec la mairie. Alors, travailler avec la mairie, il nous a expliqué, Alberto, qu'il y a une bonne relation entre la mairie de Courmayeur, la ville de Courmayeur et l'UTMB. Comment ça se présente?
Oui.
Effectivement. Donc je vais traduire.
Oui.
Donc, Roberto has also been involved for 10 years with the race. He was in charge of this actual life base before he got involved with the mayor office. It's only been a year, and he was explaining that yes, there is a very tight relationship between the mayor office, the city, and the race for 2 main reasons. The first one is obviously the visibility of the brand, the name Courmayeur within the international scene, and the second one because here Courmayeur hosted this morning the start of the CCC, and obviously it's also almost halfway through the big race, the UTMB, at 80 kilometers into the race, and that the first runners will come here. It's the middle of the night right now, but then all the other runners will come throughout the day, all day tomorrow, bringing in a lot of crew, family, friends into the bars, the restaurants, and that also allows to do good business for the city of Courmayeur. Alors, tu as été responsable de cette base de vie. Est-ce que tu peux nous en parler un petit peu davantage et puis éventuellement nous présenter un petit peu les différents endroits? So, very quick update. So, again, because he's been in charge of this life base for 10 years, Roberto was telling us a little bit about how it works. And so the runners come in there. On the left side, there's all the food and beverages, cold, hot. You have everything they need to carry on. And on the other side, opposite side, where you have the tables and all the chairs, is for the crews who come and help out every individual runners. And then where you're filming right now, what you can see is the resting area where all the runners who need a little bit of support, a little bit of massage, or need to sleep for a few minutes have then the chance to rest for a little bit before again starting back out to get to finish this UTMB, because as we said, it was only 80 kilometers into the race, so they have still 110 left to finish the loop into Switzerland and then back into France and finish in Chamonix. Alors on voit déjà Roberto qu'il y en a qui
Ils ne sont pas des coureurs, mais quand même, il faut se reposer même pour les bénévoles.
Et
la
oui,
nuit, il sera très longue et demain matin aussi. Jusqu'à 1h,
c'est jusqu'à 1h. Et donc,
oui.
Il y a combien de bénévoles sur cette base de vie?
Non, ici, je crois qu'il y a une cinquantaine.
Voilà, une cinquantaine
oui.
de bénévoles.
Oui.
So 50
Entre tous les services, une cinquantaine. Peut-être même quelqu'un en plus. Hein.
plus. Voilà. So at least 50, if not more, volunteers work here on this live base throughout the day, the night, and all the way until tomorrow, 1 p.m., which is going to be the cutoff time for the runners. Si ça te va, on va marcher jusqu'à dehors, parce que quelque chose qui est super impressionnant aussi avec cette base de vie de Courmayeur, c'est tous les sacs. So very quickly in English, so as you can see on the images right now, is the whole organization to figure out how to manage over 2,000 drop bags that have been put together by the runners before the start and is being shuttled all the way here. They come in, pick it up, use this life base, and then drop it off on the other side. And once they drop it off, the organization will again put it together and bring it all the way to Champelac, where again they will have access to this bag with a similar setup, use it again, and once they exit Champelac, finally all the bags will be shuttled all the way to the finish to Chamonix. So this is a lot of logistics, especially with that many runners through the night. But we've seen all the previous years that it's been extremely well organized, and allowing the runners to easily pick up their bag and be as quickly and efficient as possible going through the life base. Eh bien, écoute, merci beaucoup Roberto pour cette visite de la base.
Ouais. Merci à vous. Et on est presque prêt à l'arrivée du premier concurrent.
Eh bien, ouais, je pense on a peut-être 10 minutes et puis on va avoir l'arrivée des premiers coureurs.
Et de là, on va suivre avec tous les coureurs qui arriveront en Courmayeur.
Et voilà, jusqu'à demain matin, 1h.
Oui.
C'est ça.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup Roberto.
Bonne nuit et bonne course.
Voilà, merci.
Merci.
On salue Brian Powell, hein, une figure, figure de.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll switch to English because this is a really familiar face here. I ran far, so you know when Life Trail went down, that was the resource that to figure out who was in the lead. That means something.
It's about that time for Jim or Francois to show up.
Together, hand in hand. Trotting along.
It's all easy for fun and games for those two right now. They're friends.
And we can hope so, yeah.
Friends no more. Like they will have a fight later on today.
You reckon?
I believe they will.
We'll see. We were having conversation earlier. It's like, how about if they get to Valorcine, maybe even further, still together, finish together?
It's possible. Like they are good friends. They've Jim paced Francois at Hard Rock not so long ago, but I think they both have But I think they do have a competitive spirit, and I would think that they might give it their go to the end, give it all.
All right.
Race to the finish.
I think they will be together. They could be together at the finish. Yes.
All right.
Maybe if they're under the course record, the overall course record, I could see them finishing together. But yeah, we'll see.
We will see.
We got two hyper this year. We'll see how this unfolds. One thing for sure. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
One thing for sure, it's going to be really exciting once again to see all these runners coming in, talk with all the crews, see how they're getting prepared to assist them Formula One style, really fast, optimizing. However, this is also one of the critical points in the race. You do not want to rush too much. You want to take your time, do whatever it takes to leave and go back out into the night. Another big climb after that. So you certainly don't want to miss anything critical. Allez.
En français.
Allez, en français. Je te laisse le faire. On rentre. En gros, on va aller voir un peu ce qui se passe sur les équipes d'assistance. Là, on est sur une grosse base de vie. C'est-à-dire que les équipes, non seulement les équipes d'assistance peuvent venir et influencer la course de ces compétiteurs. Basically, Jean-Michel Fort-Vincent, team manager, was here and he just ran back and forth because he had the information. They have people out there, so obviously not crewing, not doing anything, but just checking in on the runners out just to understand what's going on, if they need anything specific. So then when they arrive here, the crew has already all the information they need, and especially there was an information that came about Francois who needed an extra battery for his headlamp because it's actually getting really cold, as we were saying out there, and those batteries actually suffer from the cold. So he ended up dropping down a little bit too much. Therefore, he's got an extra battery compared to what he had originally planned.
Alors d'un côté l'assistance de Jim, d'un côté l'assistance de François. On va revenir avec Jean-Mi qui est un petit peu plus détendu depuis 30 secondes. Est-ce qu'il y a des éléments spécifiques justement au niveau... on voit qu'il y a des muffins maison et du jambon de Savoie. C'est à la fois l'air du pays et à la fois le côté homemade.
Non, en fait, on a peur une chose, c'est quand même la fatigue qui arrive de l'hard rock. Donc on a remis un peu beaucoup plus de sel que ce qu'on fait habituellement. Habituellement, on ne prend jamais de sel. François ne prend jamais de sel avant Trian. Donc là, on va commencer déjà maintenant. C'est un peu en prévision au cas où que l'épée de Damoclès tombe.
Bon, on va pas te cacher qu'ici il y a quand même quelques personnes, des scénarios où on se dit pourquoi pas une arrivée commune si jamais ils arrivent à passer Valorcine, la tête au vent ensemble. À ce moment-là, ça serait presque une superbe histoire qui s'écrirait, quoi. Si jamais, hein, on imagine des choses, mais c'est un scénario peut-être probable.
C'est probable s'ils se sont pas détachés en haute flégère. C'est clair que ça serait bête de se faire mal à la descente, tirer la bourre à la descente et se faire mal. Après, il faut quand même un peu qu'ils soient raisonnables et c'est logique. Après, nous, je pense que le staff de Jim ou nous, on ne donnera pas de consigne. Il n'y a pas de consigne, c'est eux. Ils s'apprécient tous les deux. S'ils se mettent une grosse bataille pendant 40 bornes, qu'à la fin ils disent bon allez, on se fait un truc marrant, qui sera, je crois, la première fois à l'UTMB de mémoire. Rappelle-toi, Fred.
Sur toi aussi. Sur l'UTMB, ça serait une première. Par contre, sur les autres courses, il y a eu des arrivées communes. Oui, il y a eu communes à l'époque d'Antoine Guillon et tout ça. Donc oui. Mais sur l'UTMB, ce serait une arrivée commune. Je laisse Martin faire un résumé en anglais.
All right, I will catch up with everything that they've been saying. So one of the first thing was actually, okay, tell us a little bit about nutrition. What's going to happen with François? Because we see there's like homemade muffins, but there's also like dried meat, cured meat. And essentially, Jean-Michel was explaining that they know that François has run Hard Rock not so long ago, and where he would normally not eat savory, salty food before way later in the race. Like, we have to anticipate that he might need that already at this point. So they say, yep, we anticipate that there might be a little bit of a change in what usually unfolds for François here at UTMB. We never know. We'll see what happens. And then obviously then there was a discussion about the fact that Jim and François are extremely good friends. They know each other. Jim pays François at Hard Rock. Then he came over. He spent some time at François in the Beaufortin. They trained together. So obviously there's a really good and healthy relationship between the two athletes, even though they don't wear the same colors. And he was explaining, well, I don't know what they will do, whether they will like try to fight each other all the way to the finish, or maybe they get to a certain point and agree that they've spent so much time together that they might finish together. But he said from a team perspective, there's no brief, there's no direction. It's going to be their decision entirely. And yeah, yes. We're waiting to see what's next. Maybe so, let's go on the American side.
Yes, we will see with Jess if she wants to speak a little with us.
So right now she's having a conversation
with
Stefan about the rules.
Hey, yes, on your noise.
It's okay.
It's okay? Yeah. Yes. Jess was doing the OCC yesterday? No?
Yeah.
Yesterday. And she fall?
I did.
Yes. And now it's okay.
Thank you.
Could you please explain us what you are doing for gym? Do you have some information about the race before? How is it? Do you have information about the
Relaxed and felt good and excited to kind of hopefully run with people in the night. I think in years past he's kind of gone ahead and not ran with other individuals at night, and he was really looking forward to spending the night maybe with Francois and who else was up ahead. I heard that it was cold and windy up there, so he did change into a base layer and then a warmer long sleeve shirt. But here I've got like a wool layer, wool gloves, a wool headband, some new shoes just in case he encountered. Yeah, some gloves, mittens, and then new shoes in case he encountered water, and then kind of like your normal buffet of ultra running food, whatever he feels like. Sometimes.
surprise, no?
Yeah, the surprise. Oh, no, actually, the surprise is the pickles. These are from the farmer's market in Flagstaff, and he loves
no way.
these pickles.
You
Yeah.
brought it all the way.
We brought it all the way in our check bag. Yeah.
He doesn't know?
No, he knows. Yeah, this is not the surprise.
That's the goodie.
Yeah, well, maybe the cheese is the surprise.
Yeah, we can speak in English as well. So at the moment and running really well for the Compressport team. So he looks really calm and really doing his own thing. And then further back we have Diego Pazos, Grégoire Kermer, who were running together. I think same thing. They're playing a bit the waiting game for the moment, and they won't try to attack or do anything else before La Folie. So I mean everything is really good for the moment. We had one disappointment with Catherine Goetz and Audrey Tanguy pulling out due to some issues. We don't know exactly what they are, but I mean it happens, and they'll be back stronger. So.
Voilà, on rappelle ici, merci Guillaume, hein, merci beaucoup. Alors donc Germain est actuellement en 3e position avec donc Aurélien et Pablo Villa. Est-ce que tu as eu des informations? C'est un peu les mêmes questions qu'on pose, mais est-ce que tu as eu des informations peut-être de Nico qui est sur le terrain ou qui était au Chapieux, je ne sais pas?
Non, Nico n'est pas là. Il avait notre événement. Mais il y a les photographes, il y en avait certains sur le lac Combal. On va voir, c'est un gros ravito ici, donc c'est important. Et puis voilà, c'est bien déjà qu'il soit là.
All right, so we're at the aid station, the support crew for Germain Grangier, aka Serge, for those who know him well around here, France. Same questions, like what's happening to him. They have also a few people on the course, and so far he's staying not much, staying focused in his race. He's got more experience. He's got 2 more ultras in the legs to anticipate better this race compared to last time. We see a lot of warm clothes. Everybody is now aware that it is really cold out there, and one thing you cannot afford, especially in this race and during the night, is to get cold, because that would just not only use up a lot of energy, but also like simply can mess up your digesting system, and once the food's not going down, that's game over. So everybody's very cautious of that.